So once again, we find out about Transformer Cyberverse toys the old-fashioned way. It seems to be a theme now with Transformer Cyberverse. It seems like the reviewers that buy stolen toys from Vietnam don't really care about Cyberverse and don't want to import that kind of stuff. And on the same time, Hasbro doesn't even want to do official reveals about these. They just kind of just show up in retail and we talk about them here. So let's talk about, yet again, some Cyberverse toys. And this time we're talking about Tiny Turbo Changers Series 4. We're up to Series 4 at this point. Just to reiterate, the movie series of Tiny Turbo Changers went up to Series 5, so we're getting close on catching up to the movie Tiny Turbo Changers. Now, what's unique about this one this time around, usually they either have reissues or they have repaints of previous molds. It's a little bit of both here. But there's also some unique characters, unique molds this time, and some of them even the first time and only time these characters have gotten a toy. And we'll get into that. So also, they are coded, so you could still, even though they're blind packed figures, you could still find out what you get by looking at the lettered code on the bottom right on the back of the bag near the Hasbro logo. It's between letters A and L. What I'll do is I'll post in the comments of the video, I'll make it a tagged pinned comment at the top. I'll put the code numbers so that everyone could look them up if they need to, and if they need to find any information on that, if you want to pick them up. I know I'm excited about these. I have everything thus far, so I'm pretty much an expert in these. So let's go through these. So the first one we have here is we have Gnaw. Gnaw is obviously the Sharkticon. This mold actually was first only available through the Sharkticon Attack pack that came with the black one-step hot rod toy, the black repaint stealth one. So this is the first time that this Tiny Turbo Changer is available uniquely through these blind packs instead of having to buy like some kind of weird assortment. It's the same thing with Repugnus. The little mini Repugnuses that came in the Repugnus pack, while they're Tiny Turbo Changers, they were only available through buying a larger pack set instead of something through the Tiny Turbo Changer line. The next one here is Cup, and Cup is a brand new unique mold. Of course, kind of light on the paint, unfortunately, but looks like his Generation 1 counterpart, and it's the first time that this version of the character has gotten a toy. Oddly enough, Cup never got any kind of Cyberverse toy whatsoever, but luckily, even though this is the first time he's gotten a toy based on this version, the painting on this one isn't too bad, and it matches more or less how he looks in the shows, unlike some of the others that we'll discuss soon enough. The next one we have here is Wildwheel. Now, Wildwheel actually does have a pretty decent toy. He had the Battle Call Trooper toy that came out, I want to say just a couple months ago. This one's a unique mold also. It's not a repaint, but man, I don't know what's the choice of colors that they went with this one. They went with like a pink with minor paint decos for his bandolier and the front of his windshield for his alt mode. I don't know why they went with the pink, though. I really don't see why they went that direction. I think that they should have molded him all in brown and then use like the one or two paint applications that they want to put on these tiny turbo changers, put them in those same areas, and I think it would have been a better final result. I don't know why they went with pink. Very weird. Maybe I'm missing something here. The next one is Sky-Byte. Again, Sky-Byte looks great. He had a whole bunch of good toys before. So it's just nice to get a little extra tiny turbo changer. They went with an all blue and then minor paint decos here and there to kind of fill it out. Obviously, they couldn't use two different colors like a yellow with it. So it's not bad. It does what it needs to do here. Now, here's another one where it's the first time the character gets a toy in this continuity. It's that of Alpha Strika. Now, obviously, it's based off of the Strika character from Beast Machines, and Alpha Strika was a character in Cyberverse, and they couldn't use the Strika name because of trademark issues, so they went with Alpha Strika. Looks great, brand new unique mold. Only problem, again, it's kind of the same thing. They went with like a hot orange, fire guts, Ginrai kind of color scheme, and didn't use much paint applications outside of that, which is kind of sad. I mean, even if they stuck with this hot orange, if they used like some purple paint to just kind of break it up in some of the robot mode, it would have worked out, but I don't know. Not feeling that one. Again, it's good because at least this is the first time that this character has gotten a toy in this universe. but at the same time, it's like they could have done better on the paint. Thunderhowl, again, brand new unique mold based off of the Season 3 character. The design here and the colors is really based off of his deluxe character, so it doesn't look so much like he does in the show. More like that unique look that they gave on the deluxe price point toy. Again, if you want to get the best version of that character, his larger, I forget what that mold was called. I think it was like a Voyager or something. That one's way better, and it comes with the sword and everything. Looks much more cooler. Here's a unique one, Ironhide, which is just a repaint of the Ratchet one. And unfortunately, because it's a repaint of the Ratchet one, it still has the light bar, and it still has the Ratchet head. But here's the thing that's even more bizarre. Ironhide was never in Cyberverse in any shape or form. There was some background characters that kind of looked like Ironhide, but it wasn't Ironhide. So this is one of those cases, much like the Jazz figure, but at least in the case of Jazz, where, Wildwheel talked to Jazz, even though Jazz was off camera, we never got to see how Jazz looks. But then we got a Jazz toy in Cyberverse, and that kind of, he was at least mentioned. As far as we know, in terms of Ironhide, there isn't one in Cyberverse. I'm pretty sure there is. He just hasn't shown up yet. But who knows? Maybe he'll be in those new TV movies, and this whole conversation won't make any sense. But as it stands right now, there is no Ironhide, so maybe this is an indicator of someone that might show up in the show later. Could be. Next, we got Slipstream. Take a guess who she's a repaint of. Of course, Starscream. So not much of a surprise there. Two-tone colors. It does the job. Energon Optimus Prime, just a clear blue repaint of Optimus Prime. It's been done before. Sure, why not? You got to put an Optimus Prime in every wave. And also, who else do you have to put every time in a wave? We got Stealth Bumblebee. What is it? Well, it's a black repaint of the Bumblebee mold. Kind of looks almost like the Shattered Glass Bumblebee art that Josh Perez did recently on his Twitter. Really nice stuff. We have Wheeljack. Now, Wheeljack's an interesting one because they took the Hot Rod mold. And unlike what they did, because before they had Hot Rod, then they did Sideswipe from Hot Rod, and it literally was like the Hot Rod mold, but just without the paint on it, so it was a terrible repaint. And then they did Stealth Hot Rod, which was just a black repaint of the Hot Rod mold. Now they did a white repaint of the Hot Rod mold and gave it some green and red in different areas to give it that Wheeljack look. But what I thought was pretty clever, they took Hot Rod's facial sculpt and they somehow painted in a mustache like how Wheeljack has in the show. And it oddly enough, even though the head sculpt isn't accurate, it oddly enough works. It's funny how well that works on it. It's not perfect, but it works. And the last one, and probably the weirdest one of them all, and probably almost even skippable, is that of Dark Energon Shockwave. And the only difference that I could really tell between the two is they gave him so Shockwave originally came out in the first wave of Tiny Turbo Changers. Then they actually reissued him in the second wave of Tiny Turbo Changers, which was like, okay, sure. This time around, it's like they brought it out again, and instead of putting the paint on his chest, he had like little silver paint on his chest. They removed the silver paint on his chest and put all that silver paint instead onto his arm cannon. That's it. Otherwise, it looks like it's the same toy. Maybe the tinge of purple is slightly different, but otherwise it seems like it's the exact same toy with minor paint application moving around. Like they just moved the budget from the chest to the arm and that's it. Very bizarre, very, very bizarre, that one. And that's it more or less. So these are out there right now. They showed up in a Toys R Us in Canada, but I'm pretty sure they're going to show up elsewhere. Although I've been told by a lot of different Americans that Tiny Turbo Changers have had a very weird distribution in the States. It's usually just Target and that's it. Maybe some Walmarts would get it. So hopefully these pop up soon. I love these a lot. They're small, they're cheap, they're cute, they're fun. And in this case, they give us characters that never had toys before that have been in the show. So if we never get any more Cyberverse toys, these might be the only ways that you get an Alpha Strike or a Cup at least, or the mentioned Ironhide, which is quite bizarre. But these are pretty awesome. Check them out. Let me know what you think. Who are you excited about? Who is missing at this point? I'm trying to think like who's left in the show of Cyberverse that hasn't gotten a tiny turbo changer. It's very bizarre. Like obviously like, you know, like stuff, even like Megatron X got a tiny turbo changer at this point. I think RC didn't get one yet. I think Blur didn't get one. Perceptor, who was pretty cool, he didn't get one yet. I know some of the weirder Autobots didn't get. I mean, even like Dead End, I think he got one recently, and I think Shadow Striker didn't get one. Yeah, that's true too. Anyways, check it out. Let me know what you think. They look pretty cool. Where's my Teletran X tiny turbo changer? It'd be pretty cool to see too.